What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 offensive linemen from the 2024 NFL Draft, starting with number 5, Graham Barton from Duke. He's 6'5", 313 pounds. Great feet, good knee bend, great finish as well, blocks the whole play. Has some anger to him, pretty solid athlete, really good, solid, and consistent hands. Deals with power very well. Turns defenders away from the play in the run game, which I love. Pops his feet and gives up ground slowly if he does face someone that's stronger than him. I think this guy can play guard or tackle. Right now, he's playing left tackle. I think he could just as easily switch to left guard. Might even be better at that. But I do think he has the feet to play tackle as well. I think he can absolutely stay there. But I think he might even be better at guard, especially because, like I said, he does have some anger to him, which I love that in a tackle. I mean, in a guard. And he absolutely has the power to play the position. So, either way, I think he really stands out at both spots. Moving on to number 4, Jackson Powers Johnson, center. He's 6'3", 328 pounds. Strong as hell, pops his feet very well versus bull rush, which I love. He absolutely has great finish, is looking absolutely to put bodies on the ground, will move people. Very good center, and I think if you need a guard, I think he could probably play guard as well, even though his arms are a little bit on the shorter end, but I'm not really too concerned there. Knee bend could be a little bit more consistent. That is one thing I did notice. But luckily he is 6'3", so he is on the shorter end, so leverage-wise it still kind of evens out a little bit. And as I said, he does have some pretty limited length, which is why he's probably playing center. Sometimes as a help guy, he does overcommit, and sometimes that can expose gaps, but overall I think he's a very good player. Climbs very well, definitely a first-round talent, looks to get his hands inside. Sometimes his lack of length makes it hard to get his hands inside, but he's very good at fighting the hands and getting them inside if he doesn't get it initially. And he doesn't settle for bad hand position. I love him a lot. I really do. Moving on to number 3. My number 3 is Troy Fautanu. I believe that's how you say his last name. I've been hearing Troy Fats, and I'm kind of been sticking with that. I'm not going to lie, I had to look up again. I had to hear his name again before I could do this. But he's 6'4", 317 pounds, really good hands. Doesn't settle for bad hand placement either, which is great. Very athletic. Knee bend could be a little bit better. That is one thing I noticed. Leans a little bit because his knee bend isn't the greatest, which isn't great when you're 317 pounds if you're leaning forward. It makes it a lot easier for someone to, pull cloth and put you on your face or hit you with a swim move over the top, whatever the case may be. It's just not, you're not in a very good position that way. Has some real anger to him. Feet could be a little bit better, but overall, I think he's got a lot of great physical traits. And really with his feet, they are good, but I just want to see him be a little bit more consistent. But very powerful, very athletic. And I do think his feet will improve as well. And I think this guy could play tackle or guard as well. I think he has the anger and the power to be an amazing guard, but I absolutely think he can play tackle as well. Whatever teams want to do with him. So, moving on, my number 2, Joe Alt from Notre Dame. He's 6'9", 321 pounds. Climbs very well. I've seen him grab some elbows. Like, if he can't get his hands where he wants them, he will absolutely grab your elbows and fight for better hand position, which I love. Fights to get his hands inside, which is something I love. Not a great punch, kind of catches people a little bit. Really solid athlete. And actually, for being 6'9", his feet are actually pretty solid. He's pretty good about giving up ground slowly against people that are stronger than him. I do want him to stay at tackle, though, for sure. He's not the most powerful guy in the world, and I think he does actually have the feet to stay at tackle. And actually, his knee bend actually isn't bad, so despite him being 6'9", he gets lower than you would expect him to. But he does still lean and reach a little bit because of the the leverage issues, which isn't great when you're, as I said with Troy Fats, when you're 317 pounds and you're leaning forward, that's not great. When you're 6'9", and 321 pounds and you're leaning forward, that's even worse. So that is something that is a bit of an issue. He also has the athleticism and the athleticism to recover decently if he gets beat initially, which is great. Really good first round talent. And I could see him being people's number one. I think Joe Alt, Troy Fats, and my number one all have a case for being a number one. And I'll go ahead and get into it. Olu Fashanu. He is from Penn State, 6'6", 312 pounds, handles power very well, sinks his hip and stops bull rushes well. Great feet, especially for his size. Really solid and consistent hands, moves well in the run game. You can plug this dude in at left tackle and just forget about it. Great finish. Isn't necessarily trying to kill anybody, but is very consistent and has very good technique. Changes directions very well. Great hips. Really solid early first round guy. Here's the thing. The top three tackles, Olu Fashanu, Joe Alt, and Troy Fats, they all have an argument for being the number one. It all depends on how you like your tackles. I am someone who I'm a high floor guy. Like, I want to see where you are going into the NFL day one. I think Olu Fashanu is the most NFL ready offensive lineman in this class. I think he's pretty much what he's going to be. I mean, he can definitely stand and get better, but I think he's almost as good as he's going to be. Joe Alt and Troy Fats, they have a higher athletic ceiling than I think Olu Fashanu does. So I think they could potentially be better one day. But that's projecting, and that might not happen. But today, before the draft, in my opinion, Olu Fashanu is the better player. That's just how I view it. I try to view players as they are right now because you don't know what the future holds. So trying to project what someone could become with good coaching is a tough thing for me to do because you never know what kind of coaching they're going to get, how receptive they're going to be to said coaching, all those types of things. So that's kind of my opinion. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you'd like to, I'd appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.